Greetings to everyone. Is the basic information about this translation skill for the valued course in this vocabulary usage. So we are going to see a general introduction to translation skill in this video. First of all, we have to know what is a translation is. A translation is an act of rendering a text from one language into another. It involves the rendering of a source language text into the target language text so as to ensure that the surface meaning of the two will be approximately similar and the structures of the source language will be preserved as closely as possible. Next, we have to know what is the source language and the target language. Or source language is nothing but the language we translate. For example, here we have this I played in the ground. It is an English language, so this English language is called source language. And when we want to translate this source language, English language into Tamil, and that Tamil language will be called receptor language or target language. So this the language into which we translate. So for this example, I played in the ground, we can translate into Tamil as நான் மைதானத்தில் விளையாடினேன். So this Tamil language is called target language. Next, we have to know what is the source language text and the target language text. Source language text is nothing but the original text what we are going to translate. And next, target language text or receptor language text is nothing but the translated text. Here we have the example from Abdul Kalam's Wings of Fire is one in English language. The English version of Abdul Kalam's Wings of Fire is called source language text, and this source language text was itself translated by Abdul Kalam himself and into Tamil that is called Agni Chiranagan. So Tamil version is called target language text. Here we have to know what are the translation procedures we can follow for translating a work of art. So we have many number of translation procedures in translation skill. So first of all, we are going to see only the literal translation. So literal translation is nothing but the word for word translation. Here we have the example Sengotai in Tamil, and this Tamil Sengotai can be translated into English as Red Fort. So simply we are following the word for word translation in the literal translation. Procedure is transliteration. It is writing the source language word in the target language alphabet because it helps the people to pronounce the words and the names in foreign languages very easily. Here we have the example for this, Sita and the Hindu. So basic proper nouns can be translated into other language by using this methodology of transliteration. So here we have the Sita. It's very easy for to translate. And the Hindu, the newspaper name, Indian Express, can be translated into Tamil as the Hindu. Next, we have the basic translation procedure, transference. It is a process of transferring an SL word into a target language word. Here we have this data. So just we are going to write the source language word into the target language word as it is in the transference method. Next procedure is transcreation. It is a creative translation of the material from one language into another to achieve the same goal of the original text. So we are going to take only the content of the text and we are going to translate that content into the target language text to fix the cultural background of the target language text. For example, here we have this Fitzgerald's English translation of Umar Khayyam's Rubaiyat. So we have this example of the speaker who wanted to have the paradise in earth. He is enjoying the paradise in earth by having the loaf of bread, beneath the bough a flask of wine, a book of verse, and thou beside me, singing in the wilderness. Oh, wilderness is paradise in now. Here we can find the enjoyment enjoyed by the speaker. He wanted to have only the loaf of bread beneath the bough of the tree, and he wanted to have a flask of wine, a book of verse, And all this enjoyment he wanted to enjoy with his lady love. So apart from these enjoyment, the basic needs of the human being, he wanted to have the lady love beside him to enjoy that. So these combination will give him the paradise in earth. So he wanted to enjoy the paradise in the earth itself. So he enjoyed that lively atmosphere. Okay, so they are considered that lively atmosphere as paradise in the earth. So this text was translated by Kavimani Desiya Vinayakam Pillai in his Tamil translation, and he omitted this loaf of bread and lady of romantic longing in his translation because he portrayed only the according to the culture of the Tamil society. Here we can find this translation. வெயில் கேட்ட நிழலுண்டு வீசும் தென்றற் காற்றுண்டு கையில் கம்பன் கவியுண்டு கலசம் நிறைய மதுவுண்டு தெய்வ கீதம் பலவுண்டு திரிந்து பாட நீயுண்டு வயற் தரும் இவ்வனமின்றி வாழும் சொர்க்கம் வேறுண்டு. So here we can find this. In that English translation, we can find what are the general information about this book of verse. But here in Tamil translation, he has specially mentioned about this Kamban Kavi, his only Kambraman he wanted to have. And he wanted to listen some of the devotional music in that atmosphere. So he can enjoy that atmosphere with the basic atmosphere in the garden. Okay, so he has translated this Tamil version according to the Tamil culture. Transposition. It is a replacement of a grammatical structure in the source language with one of the different grammatical types in the target language to achieve the same effect. So we are going to change the grammatical structure of the source language text into the target language text. Here we can find the example. He watered the plants. Here water comes under the verb. But when we translate this, he watered the plant sentence into Tamil, we can translate like this. அவர் தாவரங்களுக்கு தண்ணீர் ஊற்றினார். Here தண்ணீர் comes under noun. So we are going to give only the meaning of the sentence, not the structure of the sentence. So in this transposition, we can translate the source language text and the target language text, but we can change the grammatical structure in order to give the same meaning of the sentence. And we have to know what are the qualifications for a translator. So here we have this: the translator needs to have good knowledge of both the source language and the target language, and he should transmit the writer's intention, original thoughts and opinions in the translated version very faithfully and precisely. So he must have a high linguistic sensitivity too. And a translator must have high mental ability, that is thinking or intellectual capacity. So he should possess logical thinking and analytical precision to translate the source language into target language text. And he must have a language sense. He must have a flair and a feel for language, because it will help him to avoid errors or commission and omission in the translation process. So this will help him to choose the correct word for the translator text. Next, we have to know what are the basic talents and attributes for translator. And a translator must possess natural resourcefulness. This enables him to choose an apt or approximate item in a vast array of lexical and syntactical possibilities. He must have an imaginative faculty, because a literary work is an outcome of emotion and imagination. So he should have the imaginative capacity to translate the source language text. Apart from this, he needs to have drilling and training too, because he should have the practice of translated text, and he must rely on books to acquaint himself with the theories, principles and practices of translation too. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you so much.